But first tonight, you would think if there was an obvious roadside danger, someone would do something to fix it. Well, David Bell and Neil Corbett know that's too obvious to be true, particularly after barely escaping being killed when a snapped power line hit their car as they were driving down the Victor Harbour Road. Now, the culprit was a huge old pine tree that had dropped a massive bough onto the power line, leaving it perilously close to the road. And while David and Neil were counting their blessings to have survived, they were stunned to learn it wasn't the first time it had happened. Brad Gustafson explains.
I just instinctively knew that it was going to hit our car. I don't know how, but I did. In my mind, I went, Neil, duck, power line. But I didn't get the words out. All I got out was like a, as I ducked. This thing just hit the windscreen and just made this almighty, it's like a bomb went off. I'm either going to have a head or I'm not going to have a head here. That's what I thought.
It's an extraordinary story, and David Bell and Neil Corbett are lucky to be here to tell it. It stems back to one sunny day this October. Two ageing surfers heading out of town along Victor Harbour Road near Mount Compass.
It's my first weekday surf in 20 years. So I'm all geared up. I'm looking forward to it.
Neil was driving his pride and joy, a car he'd just imported from Japan.
It's just lovely scenery, watching the road. I guess I wasn't looking up higher above the road for a power line. It's not what you expect.
I saw a power line, a couple of metres off the road. I looked, I thought, that can't be right. Then I saw a truck.
Steve McDade was driving that truck.
Initially, I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was looked like a steel cable that had been stretched across the road. And yeah, so I tried to pull up, and then it seemed to be a lot closer all of a sudden.
And the truck hit it. I was just sort of stunned.
There was traffic coming on the other side of the road, so I just sort of hoped that as it braked that it missed them.
But it didn't.
Just like an explosion. It was just, I couldn't believe it. It was just like bang.
The windscreen just shattered. It was, became opaque, basically.
And there was just glass everywhere, like the inside of the thing. There was powdered glass and shards of glass.
The surfboards were ripped off, the roof racks torn to shreds. The boys lucky that's all they lost. The first question this all raises is why the power lines were so low in the first place. Well, a massive branch from this old pine tree fell on the power line crossing Victor Harbour Road, causing this Stobie pole to bend over and lower the line. The truck then severed it and flicked it around into Neil's windscreen. The boys were happy to call it an accident, an act of God. That was until David went door knocking nearby homes and resident Chris Zamko told him this story.
See that branch there? Well, that actually is an accident that happened 2 years ago. That branch fell off the tree, hit the power line, brought the power line Stobie pole down on my side of the fence, and a truck hit it. And at that stage, I'm thinking, what? It's already happened before.
It was sort of like a deja vu. It sort of, when it all sort of happened again, and they came up with exactly the same story. It was very odd.
Etsa crews come regularly to Chris's place to trim trees along their easement. On one visit, she told them about the big pine.
I said to them that we've had 2 incidences with this big tree where the branches have fallen onto the power lines, and could they please have a look at that at the same time? And they said they'd write it down in their incident book and take it back to Victor Harbour and report it.
That was 2 months ago, and still nothing's been done. We wanted to put this to Etsa, but they refused an on-camera interview, saying they've fulfilled their requirements under the Act. They say they only have to keep a clearance of 10 centimetres around this type of power line. Under this loophole, all the giant branches still overhanging the line are classified as safe.
I actually walked around the tree. There's ours and another 4 I've counted. There's 5 that have come down, and above our branch, waiting for the next year, 2 years, there's another 5.
I think anyone with any intelligence would say that's a dangerous tree, and something's going to happen again.
Absolutely.
And there'll be a family without a family member, and the coroner will be saying, well, you should have taken the tree out or pruned it.
Well, I wouldn't like to see it happen a third time. I'd be frightened somebody would get killed. I mean, I think the guys were very lucky that they got off as lightly as they did. They could have very easily been killed.
Neil made a claim to Etsa for $4,000 worth of damage done to his vehicle. They knocked it back, saying they followed the Act and weren't negligent. But for David and Neil, it's not about the money. They just don't want someone else to suffer the same fate or something even worse.
This was the first branch, wouldn't have really impacted. I said, well, fair enough, that's unlucky, but that's life. But this isn't. This is something that's repeated, and it's going to happen again, for God's sakes. It will happen again.
Absolutely.
We certainly hope not. And now we were told today that that power line caught fire in the rain today and had to be attended to by an ETSA crew. And while ETSA maintained the tree isn't their problem, the Alexandrina Council has said that they're happy to send someone out to look at the old pines. So we'll keep you up to date.